Welcome back to the Blame Girl podcast with
Terry Wayne.
Yes, sir. How we doing this week, Terry Wayne?
Oh man, it's been a busy one. It's been a busy one, and I'm excited. There's been a lot of controversy today, a lot of Facebook drama. Can't wait to get into it.
I can't wait to get into it either. What? But tell us what you've been doing this week. Like, how's your week been going?
Man, I've just been working. I'm helping my sister out while she's out of town watching her dogs, which is annoying, and I hate it, and I hate her, but it's all right because I love her.
You don't like dogs?
Huh?
You don't like dogs?
It's 30 minutes away, so I got to go over there, hang out with the dogs, come back, go over there. It's just a lot of running around. It's just.
No. I prefer to watch people's pets at my place.
Or I've got to stay at her house and watch her dogs, which gross. The worst thing. Can you sleep in somebody else's bed? Like, even if they're a close family member? Like, no. First thing I did was wash her sheets. First thing I did all her bed laundry. So nice and clean and fresh, so I don't have to sleep on her terrible couch.
I'm super weird about sleeping in other people's beds. No, I won't sleep in my parents' bed or anything like that. So.
Well, if I can wash the bed laundry first, I'm fine, because then I just think about it like, all right, this is just a hotel room at this point, because they don't change those mattresses out, just the sheets.
So you haven't caught COVID yet, huh?
No, and I've been trying, man. It's tougher than you think. I've been licking doorknobs and banging prostitutes.
I'm working on it. So my week's been okay. It's just been busy as per usual. I've been thinking about jokes again because I'm doing a show coming up this next week. So that's about it. I've been staying at home. I don't think I've been out this week. I did go crazy last week, but
yeah, I mean, I go out and get food or go to the grocery store, or little things. It's amazing how when all the fun things you always look forward to go away, start appreciating all the little things that you still get to do. So I've been going on a lot more walks. Like I just take a hike for a few miles and come back.
Something Americans definitely need, don't they?
Yeah. Get out there and just it's important to get sunlight for your vitamin D. It's important to get your circulation up, and do things, just because this isn't going to be forever. And we're going to have a lot of fat, unhealthy people.
Speaking of fat and unhealthy people, why don't you bring out our first topic for everybody?
Oh my God. Hang on one second. I read this article that Politico put out, and it basically is talking about what if Donald Trump decides to drop out of the Republican nomination for president and just not run in November. And I know that sounds crazy, but it actually makes a good point when it talks about Johnson during, at the end of his first term. He was so unpopular. He knew he wasn't going to win. So he thought the only way he could win is to not run at all, just walk away. And that's why Nixon, he quit. He resigned the presidency under, obviously the Watergate scandal. So everybody has a theory about it. Everybody still talks about it. Meanwhile, nobody talks about the fact that Johnson left his post by just saying, I'm not going to run again as an incumbent.
I didn't know that till you brought that to my attention.
Yeah, as an incumbent. And it is a political strategy that has been used before. So Donald Trump actually decide to save his brand, to save his name. And the only way to win in November is just to walk away. I read that and immediately.
So wait, let me fit this in my blame world. I got to fit it in the blame world. So
okay.
If Donald J. Trump walks away from the presidency, who's to blame? Are you saying he's following precedent? It's so that he will remain.
I don't think anybody's to blame. I think it'd be the greatest thing ever. I wouldn't blame anybody. But yeah, as far as like who's to blame, I would blame his own ego. Like he doesn't want to suffer a defeat. I don't think his ego will allow him to suffer a defeat. And if he really feels like he's going to lose, like if he ever actually acknowledged that point, I think he would definitely quit and take his ball and go home before he would actually suffer a defeat. That's what I think.
A friend of mine sent me, um, he swears he doesn't get these emails from the campaign directly, but it's his family members. But he sent it to me directly today, and it said Donald Trump. It was like, there's only 3 months. And it just sounds like he is fucking panicked. What do you think? It sounds like he's
Oh, I
panicked.
think he's definitely panicked.
I don't know if he's gonna get out of it. I think he's gonna push all the way through. He's panicked. That doesn't sound like to me someone that's thinking about dropping
Maybe
out. God, I
maybe
wish
it's
he
just
would, but
wishful thinking. Okay. Now the political ad, it states like everybody thinks I'm crazy for this idealism, for this idea. Uh, but you know what? Everybody thought Hillary was going to win in 2016. Everybody is rarely correct. Everybody thinks a lot of things. Everybody thought the world was flat at some point.
everybody seems to think that Donald J. Trump won't even try to not have an election. But I
Well,
mean,
he has
terms
mentioned
are,
about pushing it back, which is the first step in not having it. You
yep,
know,
yep, he's
and
trying it. He's
and
trying.
we already know he's gutted. He's gutted the postal service. We already know he's putting roadblocks in place. He's already creating the narrative that mail-in voting or absentee voting, which is the same thing, we're all, are, oh, these are so manipulable and these are so
So he's
easily
manipulating them to prove that. And
right. Well, if they're so easily scammed, why don't we make them more secure instead of just bitching about it? How about that?
that's what winners would do, Terry Wayne. That's what winners would do. So
Yeah, but Republicans aren't winners anymore. They know that if everybody voted, they'd never have another elected seat ever. They know that. They've said it openly now. They're not hiding the game anymore. It's public, you know. But anywho,
you got
that's
any,
just my dream. I just wish that he quit.
you got any more thoughts on that? I wish he quit too. I can't. I mean, I wish.
I mean, I wish a lot more things on him,
It
but
seems like the easiest way for him to get out.
I think it's the only way for him to get
But
out with dignity. Yeah.
yeah,
Other than that, I don't think
you
his
think
ego
he's
will
gonna
allow him.
lose?
Huh?
Do you think he's gonna lose?
I do. I think he's going to lose. I think a lot of centrist Republicans have had it with the experiment. I think a lot of Americans have had it with this whole like, what if we made a celebrity president, or let's get somebody that's outside the political theater and
They'll
get an
do that shit
outsider.
again. They'll do
Huh?
that shit again in another 40 years because Reagan. That's all I gotta say. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
about the time
And
Kanye.
they fucking the Republicans of today fucking praise Reagan. That is their god. So
Yeah, but
even
Reagan's got a lot of flaws. Reagan,
Trump.
yeah, I mean, Reagan did some good, but Reagan also has a lot of flaws, and his political strategies have impacted this country for every election since. Both local, midterms, and presidential elections have been influenced by the policies that his original campaign enacted, mixing religion and politics and creating what they called the moral majority. That has fucked. That's the same reason that every Christian identifies as a Republican, or you hide your face in shame when you go to the church.
So I mean, I guess that's really all I have to say about that. But it's good that we're kind of talking about the Republicans. And maybe it's not just the Republicans who are guilty of this, what I'm about to talk about, but Congress included $1 billion in a corona relief bill to purchase fighter jets and other kind of like, military equipment.
Sure.
Who's to blame for that? Like, I am so sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm so sick of these little add-ons, and I'm sick of inflating our military like it's not already the biggest military in the world, and we don't even have the most people, you know?
Well,
So who's to blame for this? Why do we need to include money for new fighter jets in a corona relief bill?
Well, I mean, it's a difficult answer, but yeah, you're right. We have the largest military in the world. In fact, if you took the 8 countries behind us, put them all together, it still isn't as much as we spend every year on military defense.
Why are we spending money on that shit?
Because of the military industrial complex. We have essentially tied a great deal of our Huh?
And capitalism.
No,
There,
not necessarily capitalism.
no, there are many people that capitalize off of this shit. Especially
Yeah,
these
but somebody capitalizes off of everything.
off of these
That's
government contracts, and they get a
yeah.
lot of money. They make
Lockheed
good money. It's
Martin,
not like, you know,
Lockheed Martin, Boeing, all
it's
these
not like
military.
welfare dollars. It's like good money, and it's all going to them. We need health care. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
I
what the
agree.
fuck?
Well, if this pandemic has proved anything, it's that you can't always shoot your way out of a situation. And it doesn't matter how big your military is when something like COVID happens, or when something like SARS happens, or when something like, a
Yeah,
pandemic happens, because you can't shoot this problem away. You just can't. So, yeah, the fact that we don't have a universal healthcare system, that we're one of two Democratic led countries in the entire world, only one of two first world nations that do not have any form of universal health care, except for Medicaid for the elderly. And the only reason they have that is because they come out and vote in droves. So if people actually want health care and they want universal health care like every other first world nation in the country has, then stop bitching, stop putting your problems off on politicians, get out and vote them out of fucking office.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Otherwise, I don't want to hear
But
you not.
what's disheartening about that is it's like, yeah, I can go and vote for the Democrats, but you know what they're doing, right? They're
Killing babies.
scrapping Medicaid for all. Medicare for all, I mean. They're scrapping it.
Look, if the
So,
American people voted based on the demand for their own universal health care system, you'd be amazed how quick that shit would get done.
I know it would, because most
Every
Americans support
politician.
Medicare for all. So I don't know why the Democrats can't pick it up. I don't know why there is over $1 billion in a stimulus relief bill when we are in the middle of a fucking COVID pandemic. It just makes no sense to me at
Oh,
all.
it makes perfect sense to me. Perfect sense. Somebody said, slip this in here, and we'll get you some new jets at a discounted rate, and we'll make another,
Yeah,
875 million off the American people. Makes perfect sense. And they do it the same way. They attach it to a different bill, and then they hope nobody notices,
and some
or they
private
hope that
companies
the
do
initial
that.
bill has such, such public support that they'll come out and everybody will be okay with it, and the rest gets lost in the minutia. Meanwhile, these private companies in our military industrial complex, they get away with fucking robbery.
It's
We don't
just
need any more jets. We got enough jets.
it's so sad. We do have enough jets.
We need PPE for our hospital staff.
There's like a military graveyard of equipment that, and then they have to sell a lot of it. It's just infuriating. So
Yeah, and that's if they work.
one of our listeners says it's not about the virus. Stormtroopers not effective crushing Antifa insurgency, so fighter jets. The stormtroopers are not effective.
All right. Get your own message board, dude. Jeez,
I got
like
you.
put it in your fucking
He
blog.
did go pretty far off with that one.
Yeah,
So,
you reach.
all right. So, do you have any more comments on that?
Fuck Trump. Hope he quits.
All right. So, well, we're on to our third topic.
Mhm.
So Ellen DeGeneres' show is DeGeneres in workplace hostility. Who's to blame? Ellen? I was hearing this, like,
I
people
think
were
it
trying
is.
to
I
bash
think it's
Ellen
Ellen.
last week, and I was like, I don't understand. But apparently, despite the be kind thing that she has going,
Right.
a bunch of current and former employees are calling her out for just racial all kind of aggressions.
Right.
For example, um, I hate to try to like read straight off of while I'm on camera, but there was one comment that I really did want to read. Did you look at this story
I
when I
did.
sent it? What
Yeah.
did you think?
Well, I mean, I've heard the rumors about Ellen, just being an overall asshole to yeah, to her people and to other people. And I mean, I think it's our culture in general. Our culture says be this one thing while the cameras are on and then be yourself later.
Hmm.
You know, that's the reason why I wanted to join this show with you, is because I'm not like I'm gonna be myself whether somebody's watching or not. I have no problem with me. I allow myself to evolve and change depending on the information that comes in. I have no problem with saying, well, I was wrong. I didn't know, but now I know and I'm different. That's it. If everybody else would do that a little more responsibly, then they wouldn't have these stories, because Ellen put herself up on such a high pedestal as this perfect person that everybody idealized.
Yeah.
Everyone I know loves Ellen. Everyone,
Yeah,
male,
I was upset when they tried to cancel
gay,
Ellen
white,
last
straight,
year
doesn't
for
matter, black, it doesn't matter. Everybody loves Ellen.
I,
Uh,
they tried to cancel Ellen last year for sitting with President
which
Bush.
is ridiculous.
And I
That's
was like,
ridiculous.
oh my God, come on,
No.
y'all are being too woke. But I did not know that they were on her show and like just straight up saying like it's all I shouldn't post the whole article in the notes. I should just post the highlights. But there was something that was really bad that they said to one of the black girls, like, you can't because you're black, or I didn't choose you because you're black, like just straight up. And Ellen, she pleads ignorance on this. Do
Yeah.
you think that when it comes to that, do you think, like, even because I was thinking, I didn't know Ellen was an asshole, first of all, but I was thinking like maybe it's just the white male patriarchy still just at play at work, you know? Like, why would no?
Come on, man. Not everything
Or
is
is
on.
it like workplace hierarchy? Like Ellen's like up here and she doesn't care what goes on down there. There's people that
Yeah.
work to it.
How the fuck is this on male patriarchy that a female, a lesbian female who's in charge of a talk show is a
It's her
multi-million
talk show, but is she
business
in
all over
charge?
the world, and for
Like
some reason it's our fault when she acts like a bitchy boss? What?
I didn't know she was the bitchy boss. I thought it
Of
was
course she's the
in
bitchy. She's
the
the
article I
boss.
read, it was all like other employees under her. And
Oh,
she,
under her.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. Shit, look, I've been a boss. I've been an employee at several
So
different
you're saying
places.
the buck stops with the boss. The boss should know if
Exactly.
they're
The
mistreating
buck
an employee.
stops with whoever's in charge. And if they put somebody in charge that's a piece of shit, then they need to learn how to deal with it. And if complaints come in, then they've got to learn how to deal with that too. If
I can't agree with that more because I have a friend that anyway.
yeah, when I worked at City Place, I had 100 employees in the parking system there. If one of them stole one of the cars, you think I just got to go, oh well, I didn't steal it, so no, shit's coming on me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, no, this is personal responsibility. And I completely agree, because I think that blame really just falls on Ellen, not because of just how she acted or how she's treated other people, but the fact that she has put herself a persona of being this perfect person that just dances around all crazy, like, oh, we're having a good time, ladies, wave your hand. But she's still a person at the end of the day. She's gonna have bad days. She's gonna take it out on other people. She's gonna be bitchy to her employees. She's gonna yell and scream at people.
I
But
can't picture Ellen being bitchy. Like I
well,
just
look, she put herself on the pedestal. Okay, so if you're gonna put yourself up there, it's your job to act like you're up there all the time, because when you're a celebrity, the cameras
don't
are
put
on you.
yourself on that pedestal, boy. So Elena's in our chat room and she's saying that she loves Ellen. It's hard to believe she's an asshole. But
Well, let's bring her on then. Let's bring her on now and have her talk about it.
okay,
Why
well,
read the comments?
I agree because she could give us some commentary on the next one. Why don't you pop in, Elena?
Hey.
Everybody give it up for Lena.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's going home and fucking Portia. What do you have to bitch about? I am a straight woman
Yes.
and I would hit that. Like, there's
Yeah,
nothing to bitch about. Like, don't be an asshole. You got that waiting for you at home. Like,
I refuse to believe she's an asshole. She's not an asshole. Like, she's Ellen, She's always like,
yeah, but
she's a weird dance.
She's a clean comic. And the thing about clean comics is they are literally the most angry people you've ever met. Jim Gaffigan, Brian Regan.
Yeah, Faisal
angry
joined in. Speaking of clean comics, Shandy says I think she's just super fake. FYI. So
Yep, I agree. Yep.
Hey, TV persona, you know, some of us have it, some of us have no filter. So, you know.
Yeah.
So that I'm glad you joined, because before we welcome you to the show, I wanted to just bring up, you know, demon sperm. Okay. So Trump loves Dr. Stella, Dr. Demon Sperm Stella. I just had to say it on the show. I hope you guys understand. Who's to blame? Why does he like this woman so much? And if you have, I'm sure you've all heard, it's this black doctor. I think she's from South Africa. And she's from South Africa, because Trevor Noah's like, don't think all African doctors are bad just because of, but and she loves hydroxychloroquine. Is that why Trump loves her? What do y'all think?
Yep, that's the reason. Because she supported his claim, and that's all that matters. If you support him, it doesn't matter who you are. He's going to say you're the greatest person in the world. That's the way his ego works.
Yeah.
If she wasn't black, he wouldn't care.
Huh?
If she wasn't black, he would not care.
Well, he did degrade all those other women doctors. He had a whole slew of women doctors that were all about the hydroxychloroquine.
Hydroxychloroquine, yeah.
So
no, I think he could
and then
be.
You know what? Republicans love propping up black folks who agree with their position.
That's true.
Any black person that's true, they're like, oh, look, we're not racist.
No, but see, Trump is your typical Republican. He's not your typical Republican. He's an egomaniac, and as long as you say he's okay, if you agree with him, doesn't matter if you're a 30-year-old black woman doctor, doesn't matter if you're an 80-year-old male white doctor.
It's Republican, because I listen to conservative talk radio every morning during the week. And this was before like the world caught on to this. My boy Michael Berry, that I listened to back in Houston, he's like, oh, get her on the phone. I love this doctor. Oh, aren't we supposed to believe black women and all this and that? They're like, just like throwing all our words back at us, right? Just because she's a black woman, she's a doctor, and she talks about hydroxychloroquine. But then we find out there's a big controversy. She is preaching about demon sperm. What kind of doctor do we know that would preach about demon sperm?
Well, I want to say hi to Ruben Dukes. Thanks for watching, bud. Appreciate it. He keeps waving at me, and I haven't acknowledged it yet.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. No, she's a kook. She's a crazy person. And I'll tell you who's to blame about that. Fundamental American Christians, because they have sent missionaries to South Africa, and they have absolutely infiltrated poor African countries and brainwashed a lot of these people. When you see like crimes against gay people, when you see laws set in Africa against gay people, prison them for life just for being homosexual. Who do you think that is? That's American Christians going over there and implementing policies. They soaked that shit into this woman's brain, and it stuck.
So I don't know. I think that's an interesting take, because you're right. It can be traced directly back to the United States with all the proselytizing, you know? So Schneider's saying that she's got to say some weird shit, the doctor, when her very conservative parents are there. Who hasn't done that? Oh, he's telling jokes. He wants to do some material. I see. Elena, what did you think about this?
My father's a very conservative man. You know, he's been a pastor for 40 years.
Something's up with your sound, Terry.
Yeah.
Elena, what did you think about this?
Well, so my daughter is African American, and she's half black, but she identifies now as a full-on black woman, and I completely support that. And she's a person of color. I think that it's ridiculous, and I do feel that the fundamental Christians have a lot to do with the bigotry in in America, which is terrible because I grew up Christian. I do have faith in God. I don't really attend church as much as I used to because I've found failures in the actual like constitution of church and having to go somewhere. But I do have a relationship. I pray, you know, I talk to him like he's my homie. Jesus is my homeboy. But my ex was a good Christian man who was sleeping with my best friend, and my parents, all four of them, yeah, they had an orgy and had me.
All right,
But just kidding, just kidding. But they're all very like high holy Christian and extremely bigoted. And it's like, you know, oh, your daughter doesn't count. Like when they make a comment about Black people, and I'm like, but she does. Like she's
the worst
Black.
part about this is that you sound surprised that they're very racially bigoted, but they're also very Christian. I mean, it was George Wallace back in the 60s who used the Bible, who said, who amongst you can make equal what God has made unequal? Speaking between the difference between the white and Black races, meaning that we were superior to the Black race. So who amongst us can make?
They took it and spread it throughout Africa, the white man's burden. We talked about this on this show, I believe. The white man's burden, they spread it out through. And now here we have a South African doctor back in America talking about demon sperm and hydroxychloroquine. And our president loves this woman.
He loves her because she said the thing that validated the thing he said. That's all it is. He could give a fuck about this woman.
I think there's been research.
It's not even going to the funeral. He doesn't care.
So, all right. Well, that's it for our Who's to Blame segment. I think we are going to let you guys get to know our guest, Elena. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome again.
Nice to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
So you're a local comedian. How long you been doing comedy?
About a year and a half. I was going pretty hard, pretty fast, and then COVID shut all that shit down.
You've been longer than a year and a half.
February of 2019.
Yeah, I did a show with you in Wellington, that coffee house show we did right when you were starting out. I remember.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically because
the
crowds you brought with you were still very large.
The what?
The crowds that you brought with you to show were still very large.
Yes.
And experience that. In the beginning, when you start, all your people come out. And then about 2 months later, they're like, we've seen it. It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't do it anymore.
Yeah. I think you were on the show that I first hosted, and I actually forgot to do my set, which was great. I gave all of the...
I think you were a guest on the coffee house thing that we did together. I think that was the one out in Wellington, or not Wellington, out in Parkland.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That was great. That was fantastic. Yeah.
So you've been at it for a year and a half. Have you done comedy outside of South Florida yet?
No. I was supposed to do some stuff in Boston when I went to visit my daughter, but she didn't feel like going out. So, you know, I was visiting her, and so I didn't go.
Kidding, man.
Struggle. I'm
gonna do it next time.
I'm like a stickler. When I go places, I'm like, we gotta go. I'm sorry. Like, this is just who I am now. We've got to schedule a night for me to go do comedy. So
she knows now. She knows.
You better let you get some stage time.
Exactly.
Time to go to bed. Mom's going out.
Right.
Yeah. Good night.
So yeah, I've started actually because I haven't been able to do comedy. One thing I've gotten really good at during COVID is cooking. I'm actually losing weight during COVID, which is like unheard of. I'm down like 14 pounds. I mean, in 4 months, that's not really much of an accomplishment, but I'll take it.
Well, instead he wins the race.
That's true.
I gained 2 pounds, so in your face.
All right, I got you. So I've been trying to do some cooking with comedy videos, and it's been fun. Kind of weird. I've learned that during isolation for 4 months, I can talk to myself for a really long time.
Well, maybe you're just a good listener.
I'm a fantastic listener.
Yeah. I like cooking too, so I can appreciate that. My bread baking skills definitely came up a bit during COVID, just especially in the beginning when you couldn't buy bread anywhere. But I always do. I've always loved cooking. I've always loved baking. So I had plenty of bread flour and yeast and whatnot lying around. So I said, fuck it, I'll just make it. And I forgot how much better it is than bagged bread. So
Yeah.
everything made at home is so much better.
I just want to make one thing clear. I'm not talking about that sourdough shit where you have to spend a week like growing your initial shit. Yeah, those people are lunatics. All right, that is way too much time to spend on a fucking loaf of bread.
I don't
agree
know
with
about
you.
sourdough, but I know. I said I don't know anything about making sourdough, but I know Elena
That's like
can,
a
we
week.
can make
Like
some
one loaf.
artichoke. What did you make the other night?
I made a
Artichoke.
stuffed artichoke, and yes, and
Is there a
like
video for that? Because
no, I need to do a video for that. I was experimenting because I hadn't actually done a stuffed artichoke. I'm gonna do a video for that. People were asking me to do scallops because people screw up scallops.
I didn't even know about the membrane on the scallops.
Yeah, it's like the little umbilical cord. Yeah, take that shit off.
I did get myself a veggetti.
Did you?
I used it last night, and because I'm doing a cleanse right now.
Okay.
I'm dying. I really want to drink alcohol, but I can't until Friday.
What is a veggetti? Because it sounds like a vagina.
That's why I bought it. So it's a
It sounds like a
vegetable
machete that you use with your vagina.
Yes. So it's a vegetable spiralizer. So you stick your zucchini in it and you twist it and it turns it into noodles. But
Okay,
I literally only
anything, first of all. Second of all,
I just wanted to buy it so I can say, hey, do you want to see what I can put in my veggetti? Do you want to hold my veggetti? Do you want to see what my veggetti can
so you
do?
bought it for the jokes.
Yes, absolutely. And I actually use it.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
It is. And it's good to do in your videos. Like that is their little, where you just pop a little joke in. This is my veggetti. I like it. I don't know what else I might spiralize other than zucchini, but what all have you spiralized?
Carrots work pretty good. If you can find a long and skinny sweet potato, that works pretty well too.
I have a sweet potato. How did you cook it?
Maybe, but not skinny.
Just you can actually saute it in a pan just like you would the zucchini, or you can bake it.
And it's like noodles?
It's like noodles, yeah. So, I mean, it really doesn't, the veggetti really only has one purpose, and it's to make noodles out of vegetables.
I got it.
The vagina has a lot more other purposes, but the veggetti, one sole purpose.
I don't know how the whole veggie noodles thing got started, but I am just overtly against it.
Really?
I've been to Italy multiple times. Those people are way more healthy than we are, and they're not eating zucchini noodles. I can tell you that.
They're eating like pasta they made at home.
Yeah. So just stop being fucking lazy. Stop putting a bunch of dangerous chemicals in your body.
Get
some flour and make some fucking pasta. It ain't hard.
Look, we don't have time. That's why I've been ordering fat chops.
We got time, and yes, I ordered some of that swordfish curry from Fat Chops, but I'm still waiting to get it. So I
was
can't.
about to say, how'd you like it?
I can't comment on it yet. Still waiting on it.
Oh, Fat Chops. All right. So, Elena, why is your name so hard for people? If you look on Elena's social media, she's always sounding it out for you. And if you
just called her Alana when I got on this thing, I swear to God.
You did?
Yeah, and she hit me. She came back at me so quick, like I dead named her, like she had transitioned, and she's like,
getting us to
take it easy. I'm illiterate. Give me a break.
So I joke and say that my mom was illiterate because my name is spelled Allana, which sounds like Alana.
Yes.
And not only did she fuck me going forward, my middle name is Lynn with one N. Who the hell only has one N? So I joke and say she was illiterate. It's my mom's fault. And I've wanted to change my name and have it like legally changed so that there was an I or a Y in there. So you would say Elena instead of Alana. But then I thought, you know what? This struggle is real. And I've been struggling with this my whole life. And why give it up now? But it's great when it happens in front of her. So I had to drop her off for a procedure the other day. And the lady asked me for my phone number and my name. And so I said, Elena. And she goes, how do you spell that? And she goes, I said, just spell it however you're going to pronounce it. And she says, well, no, how do you spell it? And I said, Allana. She goes, oh, Alana. And I go, yeah, because my mom's illiterate. And my mom is sitting there as she's like heading to her appointment, flicking me off. And I'm like, this shit is real. I wanted my name to be Michelle for years. That's my alter ego, Michelle with 2 L's.
Blame on that one, right?
And you know what's
my
funny?
Mom.
Is when you tell the joke and like I hear it and I still want to call you Alana.
No,
you
see,
Elena
honestly,
Alana.
The one to blame on that
Elena
one,
Alana.
the one to blame on that one is you, because you're an adult and you can change your name anytime you want to.
Oh.
I know, but it's,
be Michelle, girl, own it.
no, Michelle is so basic. I mean, I don't even drink White Claw. Like, I drink Truly.
What are you talking about?
So you've been.
If I want to be Brad tomorrow, I'll be Brad tomorrow. All right, YOLO.
It takes a little longer than that legally, Terry. You got to get a hearing and stuff. You can't get.
Well, I should have done it when I got divorced because it would have been free. But now I got to pay $350 to do it. And if I'm going to change my first name, I might as well change my last name.
Identity?
My whole identity. Like I might as well transition to something first, you know.
If it was that important to you, you'd have done it by now.
No, the struggle's real.
So do you have any upcoming shows? I know you haven't been getting out. You've been pretty safe, just because you have some health concerns. So
yeah, I'm actually doing some stuff. I'm posting stuff on YouTube. So I changed my screen name so that you can spell it phonetically. If you look up Comedy by Elena on YouTube. And I'm also doing a Facebook page, The Cooking Comedian, which is easy to spell as long as you can spell comedian. And it does come up on Google. So yeah, those are about the 2 places right now. I haven't done any open mics. I got a compromised immune system, and so I just haven't been out. Comics don't really know how to social distance, and I don't know how to not hug people. So
yeah, I know when this all started happening, people were still trying to hug me, and I'm like, whoa.
I got a good tip for you guys. If you don't know how to stop hugging people, just imagine that you're a man in the current climate. You will immediately stop hugging everybody because
okay, Terry, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
One wrong move, and we are. We all know it. We do it.
We gotta play the blame game.
Just be charged. That's all that matters. Just be charged, and you're dead.
Okay, so that is.
My hands are up. I'm sorry.
Again, that's a great segue, but you're too early. We got to play the blame game, man. So
I'm sorry. We're getting there. We'll call it back.
So I always thought, Terry, a way to a man's heart was his stomach, but not anymore.
No, it's his genitals.
Huh? Who's to blame for that? Like, why can't
it was never true? That's
can't you win a man over with the nice dinner?
From old ladies. It's bullshit propaganda from old ladies, right?
It was bullshit propaganda, or do you think they
always?
Really...
Oh, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. No, it's not. It's through his penis. Always has been. Okay. If you give a man a blowjob, he doesn't give a shit if you can cook or not. He'll order delivery. Okay, he's fine with it. He can order delivery easily. Just get Domino's tonight, no problem. He can't order a blowjob that easily if he has any self-respect.
So you're saying I have to give blowjobs?
I'm saying that if you love your partner, that you will be accepting to whatever makes them happy. And I think that if a man is the same way, he should be the same way.
Yeah.
So what if you cook and you give blowjobs?
Then let's get married right now. Okay.
I'm looking for a man who can cook.
Depends on what you're cooking. Are you cooking fucking zucchini noodles? Because if case, like I'm gonna let that one go because
I'll make you some refrigerated pasta.
zucchini noodles too. You're too old.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, make me a lasagna. Let's see how that
Zucchini
rocks.
noodles.
But zucchini.
Hey
Like-
man, if it tastes good, I don't give a shit what it's made out of. It could be made out of asbestos and homeless people, but if it tastes good, that's really all that matters. I just don't see how zucchini pasta tastes
But
good.
you won't marry a girl because she makes the mean lasagna, unless she can give a mean blowjob along with that.
Hey, listen,
she
how about
gives
just marry a
what if
girl
she
because
gives
you
it like
love
a-
her and she makes
if
you
she gives-
happy? How about that?
Say
Huh?
that again?
I said, how about just marry a girl because you love her and she makes you happy by just being around? How about that? And then you don't have to cook or give blowjobs.
Because of the male patriarchy. I don't know why y'all choose women.
Okay, whatever. We're not all like
Nope,
that,
Hillary
okay?
was toxic, so I
No,
thought it
look.
was like, cook me dinner, woman. But no, you don't anymore. Not anymore. Men, they can just.
I've never ordered that. I've never said those words in my life. Cook me dinner, woman. And it's not just because I know I can cook dinner better than she
What
can.
about your parents? Come on, your dad
Huh?
expected your mom to cook dinner.
My mom?
What about your parents? Did your dad expect?
My mom was a divorced woman who spent her whole life in the church, didn't have a job ever until she got divorced, went into the workforce with no education other than a high school diploma and no experience. She worked 3 jobs to support me and my sister as a single mother, and me and my sister took care of ourselves, which sounds tragic, but it's not. It actually made us both very self-reliant and independent. So who cooked dinner? Mainly we did. And if we didn't, she ordered us pizza or brought home takeout. That's what happened in my life. Now
Is that because she didn't cook and give blowjobs? I'm sorry.
No, I'm normally the wild card here, but this bitch just comes at me talking about my mom giving blowjob. I'm sure she gave them to my dad. I don't know. Were you insinuating she wasn't giving them to me? You fucking
No,
freak.
not to you. No, ew, no.
Terry,
I just meant like she would.
You're
Listen, I
insane.
got divorced.
divorced.
I just,
She was
yeah,
divorced.
like, who's to blame on that one?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's you.
It's probably my fault. It's all my fault. It's always
Now
my
I
fault.
see why your daughter doesn't let you go out at night. You got
Exactly. Now you see why I moved her to Boston.
All right, guys. I think it's time to go ahead and move on to a topic that kind of got a little heated today, and it wasn't even
Oh my
okay.
God.
So first, I wanted to say,
So excited.
Brian Callen, that's another one that hit home for a lot of South Floridians because he comes down here a lot. Was accused of rape and sexual misconduct. Who is to blame? But on top of that, we
can't really blame
had
them.
a South Florida comedian come out today and
Yes.
just admit to raping 10 women.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He
I
didn't.
am firm on this. When I read that originally, and we are talking about Abe Perez, there's no reason to not say his name. Everybody knows what's going on. I invited him to come on this program, on this podcast, and clarify himself, because when I read that, I did not hear when I read it, I did not hear a man admitting to actual physical assault. What I heard was a guy who has drank the Kool-Aid to the extent of saying that because he realized that his toxic masculinity and his misogyny, his very, because the few conversations I've had with the dude, he's very liberal, like too liberal, if you ask me. Yeah, exactly. So he's trying
I was like,
to
what?
talk about the mistakes that he has made in relationships. He even said it in the post. To anybody who hasn't read it, I'll post it again. He says, to all the women in my romantic relationship. So he's basically saying the 10 women I've dated, I've treated you poorly because I wasn't woke enough. And I've basically raped you because I've misled you and I've gaslighted you and I've treated you badly and I've done this and that.
What you're saying is you think that he's taking it.
Rape. Because the word he used the word rape, he has essentially ruined his fucking life at this point.
Yeah. And you don't even think, because as we discussed before the show, like it's gotten a little extreme what's considered rape these days. For example, some consider it rape to lie to a woman to get her into bed.
No, it just makes you an asshole.
I agree with you.
It doesn't make you a rapist. You're just a
So
dick.
was he in essence saying, I've lied to a bunch of women, I've been a douchebag, and
He's saying
therefore I'm
he's been
guilty
a
of
bad
rape?
boyfriend. He's been a bad guy. He's been a bad boyfriend. He's gaslit women.
Or are you just
They
making
feel like they were
excuses for him,
crazy.
you know?
Huh?
Or are you just making excuses for him? Maybe
I'm definitely not. Any
you
man
think
who
no way that he actually raped 10 women.
I'm not saying that. If he look, if one of his accusers comes out and says he forcibly put himself on me after I explicitly told him no, I am absolutely 100 because most women are not going to lie about that unless they're fucking psychopaths. Right?
Which let me pause you right there because one of the women did come out. Elena, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I actually was looking, I read the post myself this morning and I was shocked, like didn't even know what to say, how to react. Like here's this guy basically admitting to and professing that he's raped 10 women and he's so sorry. And people are reporting him to the Miami-Dade Police Department. So before we had the show tonight, I searched his profile and I went on, and one of his ex-girlfriends came on and said, listen, I'm one of his exes. I'm still in contact with him. He never forced himself on me. He never raped me. His current girlfriend is now manipulating him to feel that any woman that he's touched ever or had sex with
all
before,
sex is rape.
all sex is rape. And so
it's that ultra liberal feminist bullshit.
How is all sex rape?
No. So
that's what ultra feminists have said. All sex is
we're
rape.
incapable of giving consent now.
Exactly. I know plenty of women that love fucking me, or at least they lied to me and they told me that. I don't know.
Don't post it about it on Facebook. That's my suggestion. But she posted, and then other people were.
I raped people, fucking moron. All this was
other people.
He was virtue signaling about how woke he has become about his misogyny, and he buried himself under fucking rape allegations. You idiot! He's not a rapist. He's a moron who can't make his own mind.
I think he needs some. I think he needs some mental help. I mean, honestly, I got the impression from his comedy show that he posted about depression and then this post, like I almost felt like he was suicidal. And then everybody was.
That's what it is.
It's scary. I mean, in this, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, there have been a lot of people that have committed suicide because we've all been isolated for so long during COVID. And a lot of comedy was our therapy. And he doesn't have his therapy right now. And he's got a manipulating girlfriend. And hey, if he raped 10 women or if he didn't rape 10 women, point blank, he needs mental help.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I think
absolutely.
Women he'd already been
in jail in addition to that because
I mean, if he raped women, fucking rot in jail.
Under the jail.
You got so many comics just jumping on there like.
Well, they're calling they're calling
like call the cops.
They're calling for physical violence. They're they're saying find his address. We'll find him. We'll find this guy. Like they're causing for physical violence. No, he was virtue signaling that he's so woke now, and he was apologizing to his ex
that language in the post
because he's being manipulated by his current fucking chick. He's not a rapist. He's not a violent. In my opinion, this is what I'm.
Do you know him personally?
I've met him a couple of times. I don't really know him. I'm just basing it off what I've read. That's it. I'm basing it off the post, and I'm basing it off of his ex's post.
I've met him once. He's probably 5'1", little guy.
100 pounds soaking wet.
100 pounds soaking wet. Like
rape my cat. I don't know what the fuck.
I mean, no shade. I think I could fuck him up.
Honestly.
No,
yeah.
Gio, you did.
If he tried to come at me, I'm sure I could. But that's why I'm like, I heard the allegations, and I don't want to be like, not to believe the women, but I guess it's not the women I'm not believing. It's like I didn't believe the man who admitted to rape when he said he
Right.
raped some, like I was like,
No,
I met that kid and
he's
he
using
doesn't strike
rape.
me. Not to say that
He's using
like
rape
there's
as
a type of rapist, but that fucking toxic, like, super hyped up guy that might
yeah.
not stop when, and then there's, but it's all across the board. You don't want to just
Well,
exclude
it's
anyone.
definitely a variable thing because sometimes no means no. Sometimes when you read a court transcript, sometimes no, stop, don't, you're so bad means one thing, if I'm to quote Bill Burr. And then another time is like, no, stop. Oh my God, you're so bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's up to men to not be fucking animals, all right? And just read a
This is
goddamn
the
rule.
thing. This
And
is
not
a
every
wait.
man can.
I want to make a point here because it's interesting that you talk about how he's like virtue signaling and he's showing everybody how woke he's become, because I think
Yeah,
that's the
that's
problem
what I
for a
really
lot
feel
of,
like.
wait, let me finish. For a lot of men and like cops, judges, you have to damn near be trying to kill somebody to say that they're raping you. And that's not how rape is. Sometimes you were raped and you just give up and you just, let it happen and then they, whatever. So I think for a lot of people, you got to be putting up a real fight or they don't even think you're being raped.
Right.
So that's why the language has gotten so extreme to where they're like, but at the same time, I can't get
Well,
behind it.
I hear you.
Just touching a woman is rape. That's ridiculous because women have the ability to give and revoke consent. It's
They're
what
sexual
are the men
creatures
doing
like
once you
anybody
do
else.
that.
Yeah.
So
Women are just as sexual as men, and that's not what I'm trying to say. Just let me clarify. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think that the biggest thing we can do for this particular culture is just to empower women, right? Like you said, sometimes you just give up. Like if you say no, or sometimes maybe you don't say no, or you don't struggle. You're just like, fine, whatever, let it happen, or whatever. Just let this. No, we need to empower women to say, no, you're in charge just as much as anybody else is. And just say, if you're not down with this situation, just say, no, I'm not in the mood. I've had that happen to me. And you know what I did? I said, all right, let's make out a little while longer and then we'll call it a night. And every time I've done that, I ended up getting laid because we keep making out, they get more turned on and now they want it. That's the juxtaposition. That's the reversal of power. Is I'm saying we don't have to do this. And by saying we don't have to do this, it makes them want to do it more. And
The thing is,
now they're into it.
I don't want a guy like while we're making out to like stop and like pull out a form like, will you sign a form of consent? Are we going to, can I stick my penis into your vagina? Like, I don't want it to be like that. Like, I don't want it to be, I mean, yeah, I want you to know if I want it or I don't. But, and I hope that a man, if I say no,
Obviously, they should know.
I've been in isolation for
I
4
think
months, so I probably won't say no. But like, honestly, honestly though, like to bring it back, like a guy should know when a woman says no, it means no. And if she's, oh no, and he doesn't stop, like women shouldn't do that. And men should say no. She said no. And however she says it, cute or not.
That's a good point.
so. I think y'all both make good points. Like we've got to, and I've been saying this, we've got to teach our daughters to say no, to be okay with saying no, because in society that is not what we teach them to be good little obedient girls.
Right.
Not to say no, but keep your legs closed. It's kind of like, contradictory, but you say no or you say yes if you want to, and that's it. Yeah. And men, you need to be more aware than you've been ever, not to the point to where you think that touching someone is raping them, but you need to be more aware that this is actually going on. Yes, women get raped and they will tell men no and they won't stop and they'll just lay there. And that is still rape.
Listen, I know my sister got raped when I was a teenager, and not like play, kind of like high school behind the bleachers. I don't know about this Jimmy kind of raped, but she kind of, you know what I mean? Like no, she got drugged, stripped, forced down, and raped, and woke up hours later. Like, no, it was a big deal. And you know what happened to that dude?
What?
Me and a Puerto Rican crack dealer that I was friends with, put a pillowcase over his head when he walked out of his house, and let's just say some bad shit happened to him. That's it. Now that's just me. That's my personal experience with that, because fuck you, don't touch my sister.
Y'all didn't engage the authorities.
Yeah.
We did. My sister went to the police department. She had the kit done, and they did what they were supposed to do. But again, since she was skipping school with the guy and they were doing drugs, it's pretty hard to prove rape at that point.
Yeah.
The same way that a couple of years ago, feminists were saying, well, that like extreme feminists were saying, well, if a woman's drunk, she can't give consent. She can't give consent if she's drunk.
I don't know about that. Because then can men give consent?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've never had sex with a woman who was drunk when I wasn't drunk myself. So, meaning we went to a bar, got drunk together, and said, let's have a night. That's the way it's always gone. So what, did we rape each other, right? Because I have rights too. I'm a man. Men get raped. Only in prison for the most part, but still, did we rape each other? Do we both go to jail? Does it cancel out?
No rape occurred.
Common sense. I think
but it's about your level of consciousness. Like you can't be asleep in someone's
no.
That's right.
Why would you want to have sex with an unconscious person? What are you, a necrophiliac?
Bill Cosby, okay? Quick, before we get to the words with white people, Terry.
Mr. Pudding Pop.
Terry, before we get to words with white people, I just want to say we got Brett in the house from Chat Fight. Brett says, and he says, women, no, first he says, hi to my baby mama, Elena. And then he says, and women shouldn't be calling someone a rapist if she has regrets about the hookup a day after. Of course not.
Well, that happens sometimes.
They shouldn't do that.
In rare occasions, it's rare. That's
if
like
you get bad dick, you shouldn't report it. It's just bad dick.
I'd go out on a limb and say that women are getting raped more than that's happening. So
yes.
I've taken a girl home and been like, ooh, that stinks. Like, I don't know. What do you do then, polite-wise? Like, I think all the men need to know, like, what's a good out?
Just my mom called, her house is on fire.
Yes. My kids
you
are
have
calling.
the right to say no. Don't be ashamed.
All right, for your next show, you should actually investigate all the articles that are out there right now about how COVID has brought back the glory hole.
I heard that.
That's not any safer.
No, it's not. You just don't have to say it to her face.
Like, how is that safer? Or I guess if you use it.
You don't get COVID, you get AIDS. Congratulations.
I feel like the 2020 like sex thing is like condoms optional, masks necessary.
Right.
Okay. So with that said, Terry, do you have words for white people this week?
I did. It's been such an up and down day for me, to be honest, because as anybody watching or watched last week knows, I did last week was all about conspiracy theories and how dangerous they can be. And today, a comic, I guess, I don't know, I don't really know the guy. Ryan McJury. He called me up out of nowhere. I didn't even know who it was. And he's like, hey, Terry, it's Ryan McJury. Maybe you remember me from the open mic. And I was like, what? I've done like 5,000 open mics, man. I don't know who you are. And he sent me, he's like, oh, you should watch my videos. And he's got 2 videos on a website posted about how Bill Gates was the one that started COVID-19 just so he could inject us all with his vaccine to control us. And I was going to say a whole thing about that. But instead, in light of today's events, given the whole Abe Perez situation, these are my words for white people this week. We love, any progressive person in this country loves how woke you're trying to be, right? And how you're trying to make up for all the transgressions of your parents and your grandparents and your ancestors. We love it. It's great. But face your eyes forward and keep your common sense with you. Because if this situation has proven anything, it's that you can be too woke for your own fucking good. Because this kid has basically ruined his fucking life because he's trying to show how woke he is about not being a misogynist. But unfortunately, he used the trigger word of rape to apologize to his 10 exes, and now he's gonna be the subject of an investigation from Miami Metro Police Department. He'll never be able to show his face in comedy without having some cloud over it of, oh, that's the rapist guy. You know what I mean? And also, I just as a side note, if you're gonna post on Facebook, make sure you haven't done any Molly or DMT or any of the other things that Abe Perez deals pretty regularly before you do that. And certainly don't listen to your ultra leftist liberal girlfriend feminist who's telling you that what you're doing is right. And I love the people, by the way, who are making comments on his post like this is a joke. Oh, you're just making a joke about the whole thing. What fucking part of that is a joke? If you think that's a joke, you don't know what a joke is, and you got no right being in comedy. There's no joke there. He was trying to virtue signal, in my opinion at least, he was trying to virtue signal about how awesome he's becoming as a more progressive man. And in doing so, he dug his own grave. So my words to white people is be progressive, okay? Think forward, think equally for everybody, regardless of who they are. But maybe keep your mouth shut as well. Like, join the protest, but when people start screaming Black Lives Matter, maybe shut the fuck up and let the black people say it, okay? And just sit there and support them in their fight. It's not your fight. Huh?
They could say Black Lives Matter too.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it seems like.
But don't say all lives matter or blue lives matter.
No, exactly. No, I'm just
saying, be an ally. Be an ally.
It seems like a lot of Karens and Kyles. On the opposite, I don't know what you would call them when they're liberal. The Karens and Kyles, maybe they're like Karens or Kyloses or whatever you want to call them. They are kind of abducting they're kind of taking your movement and saying, look at us, we're so good. And they're all so full of pride, having never suffered anything. And now they're just trying to be the face of it. No, let black people who have actually suffered these injustices, let them be the face of the movement. Take your ass to the back of the line and just support them behind them. If you really fucking mean it, you know?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm tired of seeing white women.
They could be the front line and take the
that's my point.
First. I'm okay with that.
They can take the rubber bullets. You're fine.
Don't be too. What's that, Alana?
The white people can take the rubber bullets, though. It's fine. Just put them in the front.
What?
The rubber bullets in the protest for Black Lives Matter.
Okay, yeah. Let Karen take the rubber bullets to the eye.
Yes, use this as the human shields if we're going to say, oh my God, I have black friends and I have to be in the protest.
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant idea because now they have to suffer the racial injustice. And they've got to suffer the injustices. They got to suffer the brutality. And then at the end of that, then they can cry their tears about how wrong it is. Just earn it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, guys.
So look, that's my words for white people. Listen, be progressive. Just don't be too woke for your own good. You're retards, okay? And take it down a little bit so we don't end up like Abe Perez here.
All right. I loved your words for white people this week. That was really good, Terry. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Hopefully white people will be just as welcoming to those words. All right, guys. Does anybody have anything to promote coming up? Because my pets, they need my attention. I don't know why my dog's barking at me. Sorry.
Well, you're the one with the show.
Yeah, I do have a show coming up Sunday. I know I shouldn't be out there, but I'm allegedly doing 25 minutes.
Where?
I'll be there.
Nitrogen in Jupiter on Sunday night at 8, I believe.
I'll be there with my mask on, just clapping away.
I have a face guard being delivered tomorrow because I'm gonna go out and hit these mics. I have a microphone.
Oh wow, you went that far, huh?
I bought a microphone. I got a face mask. I'm just gonna.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, wear the face mask with the face shield, because if not, it's awful. Your actual whole face gets hot because you're breathing against the plastic. Your whole face sweats and it fogs up. So if you wear the mask with the face shield, it's better, but then just don't wear the face shield.
I'm drawing the line at the shield, right? Like I wear my mask anytime I go out. When I go to
Why you afraid they'll call you gay, Terry?
No, they don't call. I don't give a shit if they do. If they do, fuck them.
With the face shield.
No, the face shield's where I draw. Look, I am going to wear the mask because it protects me. It protects other people from me spreading it to them. That's the big benefit of wearing masks. It's not to protect yourself. It's just in case you have it and you're asymptomatic, you're preventing the spread to other people. Personally, I'd rather go toe-to-toe with COVID and just see how I stack up. I'm not going to wear a face shield because I'm worried about COVID getting into my eyes, even though I do respect, Dr. Fauci.
Well, I'm getting the face. I'm getting the face.
We're all going to get it.
I'm getting the face shield to protect myself from demon sperm, So, all right, guys. Elena, you got anything you want to? You said your show. When are you gonna do the cooking show again?
Yeah, it's my cooking show, The Cooking Comedian on Facebook. Otherwise, Comedy by Elena. Just look up my name in, the way it's spelled phonetically, and you'll find me somewhere.
I got it. By the way, Elena, I've got a great recipe. We should collaborate. I'll come on on your show and do a recipe or two.
All right, sounds good. As long as you're not bringing that yeast for some sourdough, I'm good.
No, typically yeast in women, they don't really match up.
No, we don't really like that.
All right, guys, you have a good week. We're going to go. I know Brad's going to kill us. We're way over.
All right.
Thanks, Brad. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Brad.
Bye, everybody.
Sorry about that.
For Gonzo Radio, this is Super Time 6000 2015 for Gonzo Television Station. Coming to the greater Sandusky, Ohio area. This is Pirate Bill, and this is Frank Welker saying, watch Transformers.